Hey, welcome to Restoring Memories. This isn't just about games, it's about moments we thought we'd forget. The glow of the screen at midnight, and the way one sound made everything feel okay. If you ever miss that version of you, you're not alone. We're going back. This is Restoring Memories, MMO Edition. A series of videos on games that created some of our fondest childhood memories. So join me as we take this nostalgic journey down memory lane to find lost and forgotten treasures. This is Restoring Memories, MMO Edition, Part 1. Imagine a Saturday afternoon. You and your family take a trip to the local Walmart. As soon as you walk in, you head straight for the game section, and out of the corner of your eye, you see this box. You glance at it, then you pass it by, not realizing you were walking past one of the most interesting games of the 90s. I never would have thought that years later, I'd finally get the chance to experience it for myself. Something I missed back then, something extraordinary. The game, Asheron's Call. The year is 1994. Turbine originally started as Cyberspace Inc. in April 1994. The founders were Jeremy Gaffney, Jonathan Montserrat, Kevin Langevin, and Timothy Miller. In 1995, the team was working out of Jonathan Montserrat's mother's house, with about a dozen staff. That same year, the company name became Turbine Entertainment Software. Lead designer Toby Regani describes the core early pitch as a 3D graphical mud, a persistent fantasy world where hundreds of players could explore, fight, party up, and quest, back when they had no publisher and barely any infrastructure. Toby says when he arrived in May 1995, the team was about 10 developers, working in a small suburban home packed with PCs, and most had no professional game dev experience yet. Toby joined expecting a short game writer gig after leaving a genetics lab. But as the project grew, his role shifted into lead designer, building the world, lore, and rule systems. Toby appointed early engineering leaders in what they owned. Tim Brennan led engineering and designed server, networking, and character database. Chris Dill developed the 3D graphics engine and server-side physics. Andy Reef implemented game rules, systems, and world interactions. Toby emphasizes that all code was developed from scratch, partly because licensed game code and engines basically weren't an option in 1995. The Microsoft deal. In mid-1996, Turbine pursued Microsoft's newly formed MSN Gaming Zone team at E3, showing a tech demo that was literally two PCs, one client with 3D graphics, and one running a server. After Microsoft visited their office, Microsoft agreed to a publishing agreement, initially via a letter of intent. The full contract arrived about 6 months later. In that partnership split, Turbine built the game, design, code, art, and testing, while Microsoft, leveraging the Zone platform, handled things like billing and ongoing server operations. Asheron's Call had around a $4 million budget and 30-plus full-time developers, including artists, designers, engineers, and QA breakdowns, and roughly 40 months of dev, plus 8 months of beta. It was originally scheduled for Q4 1997, but it was pushed back, and it would eventually launch on November 2nd, of 1999. Microsoft Gen Con 99 press release positioned AC as an epic, massively multiplayer RPG for the MSN gaming zone, calling out a constantly evolving storyline, a huge world, and social systems like allegiance and fellowship. Finally, we are nearing the end of our journey. This is the portion of the video where I will reveal the storyline, go over the gameplay, tell you a little story about the demise of Asheron's Call, and also let you guys know how to play Asheron's Call in 2025. Once you are ready to join the world of Asheron's Call, head over to emulator.ac. Over here, you will be on the homepage. You will click FAQ. You will go down to How to Play. You will click on archive.org for the download. Just remember that and follow all of the steps, and you will be ready to begin your journey in Asheron's Call. Once you have logged in through the Tharg launcher, you will be greeted by the character creation screen. Click on Create Character, and you will be presented with the race selection screen. Be careful about the choices that you make, depending on what you want to do in the world of Asheron's Call. There are 13 classes to choose from, all with a variety of characters ranging from human-like figures to insects to golems to orcs and trolls. This decision is a very important one because it will depend on how you want to live your life out in the world of Asheron's Call. The next section we have is the Profession tab. You can choose from Custom, Bow Hunter, War Mage, Life Caster, Wayfarer, Swashbuckler, and Soldier. Now, if you really want to take it to the next step, you can change your strength endurance levels to anything you want. So if you want to go with more focus, more stealth, you can arrange these in any way you want. You don't have to go with the pre-selected setup for your class. So once you have finished selecting your class, which is taking me a moment here, you will then go to the Skills Selection tab. You can train these skills in anything you want. What we have right now is just a pre-selected template, which you can raise and lower skills to start off with whatever skills you want. So whatever you desire, make sure to select them in this tab. The next step is your appearance. You can choose from your hairstyle, your eyes, your nose, mouth, and skin, male or female, and change the color of your clothes. It took me a moment here because I wanted to customize my character because I know it plays an important role in Asheron's Call. Once we're done here, we'll go over to the town selection. You have multiple towns you can choose to start off at. I don't know much about these towns myself, but their description is listed on the left-hand side. Me, myself, I chose to go with Uruk. The last step sums up all your character information, including your attributes, specialized skills, and trained skills. It also lets you select a name. So go ahead, review your skills, your specialized skills, your trained skills, and your usable untrained skills. Once you are done here, and you have selected a name and typed it in the same position up there where my name Retro Ray TV is, you'll go over to Finish. And now you have entered the world of Asheron's Call. What you guys are seeing now is the tutorial. As I walk through this tutorial, I want to give you guys the background, the lore, the story of Asheron's Call. The story of Asheron's Call spans across several worlds and thousands of years. The primary worlds in the story are Ispar, the world where the human characters in the game originated, and Alberian, the gigantic world where Durith, a small island continent in the game's setting, is located. The game's monthly updates compose the story. The history of Alberian spans back 35,000 to 45,000 years. A race of beings known as the Empyreans dominated the world for most of its history. They were tall, slender humanoids with lifespans of 1,000 years, and were divided into several cultures including Falatakot, Duracost, Habras, and Yelani. These cultures had many conflicts over the years, but eventually, in a world of many oceans and seas, the sea-born empire of the Yelani became the dominant society. A Yelani and member of the royal family, Asheron Rilladane, was born approximately 2,500 years prior to the time when the story starts for players. When they arrive in Durith, shortly after Asheron's birth, a war began between the Yelani people and an army of shadows, creatures of darkness and chaos, led by the demonic nemesis named Bel-Zeran, the Hope Slayer. The war with the shadows lasted over 500 years, and the Yelani pushed back from the rest of Alberian to the island of Durith, were nearly defeated. As a last resort, Asheron and the Yelani Council of 5 mages were able to stave off their doom and eventually defeat Bel-Zeran through the arts of planar magic, the kind of magic pertaining to the planes of existence and the space in between them known as portal space. Using a crystal array, the council was able to seal Bel-Zeran in another plane. The sealing caused a great explosion and all members of the council were killed, but Asheron survived. Protected by Falatakot blood rites, performed by his mother and the Falatakot-blooded witch, named Adja, just prior to the explosion with Bel-Zeran banished, the shadow armies retreated and the Yelani people were saved. Asheron continued to research planar magic. Eventually the Yelani mastered this art of magic and were able to use it to create portals from one location to another. They used these portals to explore all over Alberian, and eventually began exploring other worlds, including the homeworld of giant insect species. Including the homeworld of humans known as Ispar. In their explosions, the Yelani came to a world dominated by numerous giant insects. One of these species were known as the Ulthi, which killed one of the explorers. The Emperor of the Yelani demanded that Ulthi be brought back for research and possibly used as weapons for the Empire. This action, along with the mistake of a wizard named Gerlan would be the doom of the Yolani. The Orthoi rebelled and the Yolani lost the war. After 100 years, all surviving Yolani were pushed back to the island of Dareth. And almost 80 years later, one single Orthoi queen arrived on the island and began to breed. With their last place of safety invaded, the remaining Yolani retreated from the world. Acheron and his disciples cast a powerful planar magic spell known as the Sundering, which sent the Yolani people into portal space in a state of stasis. After sending his disciples in as well, Acheron retreated to the last place of safety, his castle on a small island, and alone began working on a way to defeat the Orthoi. More than 500 years had passed when the first humans arrived on Dareth. These humans were quickly enslaved by the Orthoi. Many tried to escape, but few survived. One group did, led by Alyssa Strathalar and Thorsten Cragstone. They rescued some others and found an Empyrean catacomb which came to be known as the Underground City. An ancient text in the city told of Acheron and his castle's location. Their leaders left for Acheron, who gave them a poison to kill the Orthoi queen, which they did at the cost of Cragstone's life. The Orthoi retreated and the humans began to thrive. Players originally entered Dareth as one of three Esperian races: the Alluvians, the Sho, and the Gorondum, based roughly on medieval Britain, Japan, and Egypt. The second expansion added Viamotians based on medieval France as a playable race. Later updates added former enemy races Shadows, Tumarok, Undead, Lugian, and Gear Knights, alongside native Empyreans. Orthoi were also added as a special PvP-only race. And now for the sad downfall of Acheron's Call and the ending of our video. Acheron's Call spent over 2 years in maintenance mode with no updates. Although the occasional server and account issues were dealt with by Turbine staff, the largest event to occur in this time was the chat being permanently disabled on the Darktide server in order to prevent in-game abuse. By December 16th, Turbine was no longer developing MMORPGs, and the servers and account system were transitioned over to newly formed studio called Standing Stone Games. But the Acheron's Call IP remained with Turbine and their owner Warner Bros. Interactive Entertainment. The game closed on January 31st, 2017. New account creation was disabled in December 2016, although players with an account were free to keep playing the game. The closure not only affected Acheron's Call, but it also affected its sequel in 2012. Acheron's Call to Fallen Kings was resurrected, but would also close on January 31st, 2017. Shortly after the servers closed, the website and forums were taken down along with the official Facebook page. I just want to thank you guys for watching this video, and I hope it brought back some memories for some people that have played Acheron's Call, and I hope it makes some new memories for the people who haven't. At the moment, I play on the Levitras server, which has a 2 account limit, so there is no boxing, and that's the way I prefer it. But if you choose to have buff bots, there are plenty of other servers for you to check out. I hope to see you guys around the world of Acheron's Call.